And this is all part of this video, even this conversation.
Am I looking at you or am I looking at you? Who?
No. We're looking at Jordan.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Jordan has just bought a white 2-door Mark II Golf on air ride.
8 valve or 16 valve?
An 8 valve.
Nice, my favourite, favourite.
And this is Max, everybody.
Hello.
Max is in charge of online vibes at Van Haven. And you're the dude who was just telling me about how you rolled your, and take over. 1972
T2 bay window panel van. It was a fruit and veg van that had never left Pembrokeshire. It had the crustiest rock and roll bed you've probably ever seen in your life. It wasn't safe to touch, I can promise you that. And
sorry, what, the crusty in the rusty,
the brown fabric, the rusty bucket.
Yeah, the
it was in pure grey primer.
Just getting our crust.
That's it, go get the crust out. And it had very clearly someone in the 70s painted Marvel superheroes all on the inside of it.
I can see why you bought it, man.
It was 500 quid in a bush.
So what happened? How come?
So we've got some welding done on it. I then took it surfing, because that was a big thing for me at the time, and we had a few brewskis on some private land, should I say, and I thought, this van's rear wheel drive, watch this. Round it went.
Magic word.
Tipped straight into a motocross track, and that was the end of that one. So,
oh, dude.
Unfortunately.
So we've been, so you joined us, probably you will see we were chatting classic VWs, and there was a real good reason for why we're talking about classic VWs, because I think everyone, the three of us in this room right now, have got some serious love for old V-dubs.
Yep.
We were talking about doing a Harlequin T7, which I think would be quite interesting.
It's got to be done.
I think it's an ugly enough van that it would pull off a Harlequin look quite well.
100%.
And generally oak green, and it was called aubergine, wasn't it?
On the Mark II, mine was definitely oak on the logbook.
But the aubergine was that lovely dark purple.
Was that not Mark III?
No, definitely Mark II. I remember a dude called Andy Gray. I used to work in a car body shop back in the day, and he rocked up in a big bumper 2-door 16 valve Mark II.
See, the 16 valve's cool, but the only benefit is it's faster. The 8 valve is way torquier.
It did have a certain ring to it, though.
I can imagine. On cams?
On cams, yeah. No, actually, no, Andy Graves didn't have cams.
Right,
no, but yes, I'm agreeing. Like, 16 valve on cams. Yeah, yes, I like that. And he rocked up in this van, and it was like an aubergine colour. And I'm sure if you know what the name of that paint is, stick it down on the comments, because that. Then it was a G60, and it just actually, I'd just like to say that guy had some seriously nice dubs. He had a Corrado on throttle bodies. Honestly, that thing was sing. Oh, just loved it. Anyway, we're here to talk about vans and the history of VW vans, really, because they're all awesome.
Yes.
Every single one of them I absolutely love. My dirty VW van secret. Yeah. LT35.
Cut him off.
No, man, that's a big bird. She's big, boxy, and square.
That is a girl.
I'm keen.
She's a big one.
So, this is the Edition 73. Max, you've been putting this online for everyone to see now for 2 months, probably.
Yep.
There's an awful lot of irony over Van Haven and the Edition 73 because it is 2025.
Yes.
And that means that the first VW rolled off in 1950, right?
Yes.
So how many years ago was that?
75.
We started this project in 2023.
Good things take time.
Good things take time. And the reason it's taking so long is because the thought process and the responsibility on our shoulders. So, as you know, 2010 came around. The Generation 1 was then axed.
Yep.
They brought out the Sportline X.
Yes.
Really limited number. You know, they made 300 of them or something.
It wasn't a lot at all.
I think it was less than that, actually.
Even that was limited.
That was seriously
limited. You had to be
limited.
someone to get hold of one of them.
174. the panel van and combi.
Yep.
That naughty 5-cylinder. It was naughty in all the reasons. But yes, so the Sportline X came out in 2010 as a homage to that Generation 1 Transporter.
Yep.
Then in 2015 we had the Edition 60 come out. Then in 2018-ish, it was a bit confused because VW then stopped giving a shit so much, I think. It was the
I think the accountants took over at that point rather than the engineers, and it was definitely more about money.
And they just called it the Edition.
Yeah.
There was like, no, there was nothing else. They had forgotten about everything
Timeless,
else.
you just call it the Edition.
So, and obviously we got the Sportline. So yes, back in 2023, we made the decision, VW were going to axe this chassis and this particular version of the Transporter, which is just an amazing piece of kit.
Yeah.
We all know that, we don't need to talk about how cool the T6.1 is, everyone knows it. It's fantastic, if only it had a dead pedal. But anyway, moving on. In 2023, it was becoming very obvious that VW were not going to give us our specialist van.
Yep.
So, Van Haven, we are, I would say within the industry, we start where most people stop on a commercial level.
Yep.
And
We build more than a van.
there's definitely
It's
more than just a van,
Yeah.
absolutely. It came down on our shoulders, I feel, to produce something that is a worthy sign-off, man, isn't it? And this is what it is. So there are loads and loads of little details that we've taken from our favourite decades. Obviously, we are not that old, so
Yet.
it kind of moves from the 80s, 90s, noughties, and so on. So it's very
catching
much
up. It's
our
catching up.
generation of design going on here.
Yes.
There's no split screens and sort of like those cooler aircon things that used to get on old dubs.
And there's no Porsche engine in the back.
True. So the hard grille, obviously 80s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
From
80s.
the original Golf and Polos and just everything 80s hard grille, which is why we've painted this little bit here in body colour. The canards at the bottom, the most 90s canards you'll ever see.
It's given max power. It's given max power.
I'm pretty, I have to say, when Jay took on the responsibility of the 1990s canards, now this is a guy who had the ultimate max power car, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but he did have a Ford Focus with a chrome engine bay, with a sub install with lightning on it, right? Bear in mind, max power, how freaking awesome this is.
Yeah.
Okay, bucket seats, nitrous oxide, and Lamborghini doors.
I went in at 1.4.
I think it was a 1.8.
Oh,
I
okay.
might be corrected. It could be.
All the power.
All the power.
Going to the
all the
sub,
noise. All the power going to the sub. Yeah,
All
innit?
1.8 subs. Yeah.
Yeah, he did have a 1.8 litre subwoofer.
You could definitely tell he loved that era.
And he's
it's
bossed
come
that.
through.
And I have to say that when you get down up close and personal with that bit of work there, sorry Bar, he smashed it. The dog bone is what we call it. I would like to know if there must be an official terminology
The dog bone.
for this piece of Transporter. We call it the dog bone. It'll be interesting to see what other people call it. But we've painted, I say we painted, Marcus and Janie
Yep.
painstakingly have masked this off and painted this with no line at all. It's beautiful. Because I really wanted to have something for the latest Golf R. I wanted that
very-
nice.
The whole front end is such a homage to every kind of decade that has existed so far. As you mentioned, we've got 80s, 90s, modern day Golfs. It's not something that is lost in time. I think it all works well together. It's like the best of every era merged into a front end of a van, and
Which is really
incredible.
challenging,
Yeah.
right? And this is why the ED73 is so wonderfully late, because it took an awful lot of time and energy and effort to actually get all of this to work together. Because honestly, the amount of vans that we painted, the body kits, all the
I
different...
remember a fair few iterations we went through.
Do you remember in the bottom office, there was just like panels of crap everywhere.
Wheels,
like...
designs. It was like I walked into an architect's office. It was everywhere you looked, there was something ED73.
While still having to like run the company.
Yeah, still had to do some work. Yeah.
Hilarious. Anyway, I'm really proud of that. And I think actually everyone who's been involved is really proud of this particular van. So we've got 80s, 90s, and a little bit of the latest Golf on the front.
Yep.
I would like to talk about suspension.
Yes.
So the suspension was developed by ourselves. Now, generally, transporters, as you all know, when they're modified, drive like a 17-year-old's Corsa. And I don't care if you've got...
Probably like Jay's Focus.
Yeah, like Jay's Focus.
Like Jay's Focus probably drove.
And when you're spending some serious wedge on a serious van, and these are tier 1 vans, right?
Yeah, 100%.
We can't have that. We can't have that experience. So the brief was that we really wanted her to ride like a Passat. And the reason we chose a Passat is because it's so incredibly boring, but incredibly comfortable.
As a Passat owner, I can test for that.
It just does everything. And you don't think about your suspension, do you?
No.
No?
Not at all.
When you're in a Passat, you think about your MPG, the dog, the children, what radio station you've got on. You don't think about your suspension.
No.
So, the brief was that with a curveball, which is why it took H&R and Coney to be involved in this, because when you drive it in anger, like we were earlier saying, we wanted it to drive like a Golf GTI. So, responsive, planted, absorbs the bumps and the lumps in the road without losing any feeling, even though the steering wheel is not connected to our steering in any way. We still wanted some form, the suspension to give us some form of that.
Some feedback. We needed feedback from it.
So
with no expenses spared on looks as well.
Correct. It's got lovely little stickers on it. They're like
Jordan will cut in a picture of that. You'll see the strut with the Van Haven and sticker on the H&R sticker on there. It looks
so that was developed by Steve at CRS, who is incredibly passionate and incredibly knowledgeable about suspension.
Yeah.
And I can justify that he absolutely freaking smashed it, because this thing rides and drives so beautifully.
You don't know you're driving a van.
No, you genuinely don't.
You really don't. No matter how you drive it. Town, hard, motorway. It, like you said, it's the Passat.
It's the Passat on the Monday to Friday, isn't it? And then when you're late for the ferry, you can put your foot down and it goes really well. So suspension I want to talk about. Also interior is just, it's the TTRC seat. We've got our Edition 73 set up in there, which is absolutely beautiful. Every touch point is looked after. Basically, we threw everything that we have learned and done and innovated over the last 10 years of being this business, the best of the best, to give it the correct nod, to send it off correctly.
Yes, this is my favorite iteration of it being a long wheelbase.
Yeah.
As someone that's 6'5", things I use are big.
Yep.
A lot of bikes are big, surfboards are long. So the fact that it's long wheelbase really, really adds to it. But it's, like you said, it's just that homage to everything that's come in that's past. There's no expenses spared on the style, the suspension, the ride, and even just the base chassis being 150 long wheelbase. To me, that is the sweet spot of, I can use this daily, I can chuck the kids in it, but I can also get that premium luxury experience at the same time. So when you look inside, seats fold down flat, seats come out, it's just the ultimate. And being long wheelbase is just my all-time favorite. And I wouldn't put it past me, chuck an air mattress in there and I'm away for a weekend. So
absolutely, man, that's the lifestyle. It's being able to, well, everyone who's watching this knows how awesome transporters are, but yes, the rear and the long wheelbase is long enough to chuck your airbed in there.
Doesn't sound like a lot on paper, but when you actually drive and use a long wheelbase, you think,
yeah,
this is massive.
Absolutely. I would just like to throw the disclaimer in there that they do come in a 204 horsepower.
Yep.
And that we do offer the ABT or apt, whatever you want to call it, the tuning box.
Yes.
That gives the extra 40 horsepower. And on the 150, it's particularly naughty. On the 204, it is really naughty, but very linear. There's not much of a, you don't get much
it's
of that.
very, but nice. But the 150 is very much more,
Yeah, you get that.
there you
Hello.
go. Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, love. Yeah, so limited numbers of these. Should we
How
do
many?
a little bit? 73.
73.
Yeah, we might do
Might we?
one or two like naughty versions.
Oh, okay. So like, what we
So,
talking
like-
73.1?
No, like for example, van number 13, which is sold.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and whoever's watching this knows which one they've
Yes.
got. Yeah.
Which we're all very excited for.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
There will be every now and then they'll just be on certain numbers.
You'll
Like
have to wait for number 13. We'll
number
not take too
13, I'm
much.
particularly excited to see, and it is going to be gnarly. She's going to be a gnarly one. Number 9 is also a very cool addition that's coming out, and I'm sure they'll.
That would just be the start of many, I'm sure. Once you see 9 and 13, I think you're going to see that we built the base. The next level is all on you. You can take it wherever you want, as wild as you want it. And I think 9 and 13 will really showcase the nod back to the originals in a cool, modern way. So watch out. If you want to see that, let us know. Let us know downstairs, down in the comments.
downstairs.
Downstairs. Just want to pop
You
downstairs.
can come
a second.
downstairs and have
Let
a
us
look
know.
at some of our edition 73 numbers, baby. All
Yeah.
right.
And also, if you do want to see the edition 73 in person, feel free to pop by our showroom.
Yeah, man, absolutely. This is our first video that we've done, kind of
It is.
chilling
But we
out
won't go
in the
off
showroom.
too far, but
No,
won't go off too far.
we've got our pool table now. The bar will be here soon.
Racing
So-
sim is going to be cool.
Yeah, it's a proper experience centre. It's not just about, everything's about the vans, but the venue, the space, where we are. I mean, we spend more time together than we do our families, and we need to be in a cool space for that. And the vans need to be in a cool space. I actually got a really cool fun fact, right?
Go for it.
Which I didn't realise until 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and I've been checking every single day.
Go on.
You know, when you want to go to sleep and you put some like sleep music on, rain,
Yeah,
white
okay,
noise.
okay.
This is
Showing
like
your age, yeah.
This is like a thing, right? That I'm learning about, that people listen to this white noise and stuff. There is a speaker in the workshop that's behind that wall, and every single night the boys will put a different thing on for the van, for the workshop. So the other day I walked in there, I was locking up, it was about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm hearing like all this freaking bird song, you know? And this actually, Jordan's looking at me as if I'm talking bollocks. Genuinely not talking bollocks. I'm not talking bollocks. It was bird song, and I'm going, what the hell is all this going on around here? And I found this little speaker. I was like, okay, very interesting. Walking into the workshop the other day, I was like, guys, there's like bird song in there. Like, oh yeah, they're listening to Drifting tonight. So I went in there, locked up,
Yeah, yeah.
sure enough, just the sound of drifting going
They've got
round
their
the
own
workshop.
playlist.
They've got their
to
own
help
like
them sleep.
10-hour long playlist of squealing
I mean,
toys.
people do it for plants. I'm sure it works for vans.
I just thought that was really cute.
Yeah, I like the care. I like the care.
That's really
It's
cute.
very considerate.
Do check out some of Max's work on this edition 73, because you can go out and buy a sport line, you can go out and buy a modified transporter. If you want something that is genuinely going to be a bit special, come and have a look at this van. Honestly, we've poured everything we possibly can into it, from the audio to the suspension, like Max was saying, all the detail on the layout, the van specification, like the whole shooting match. We've
badging, everything.
really done our best, and it's not a disgustingly expensive van. In the grand scheme of things, it's just not.
When you look at where things like the sport line and stuff lie, if you can even find a new sport line, The ED73 it's a no-brainer. You get scarcity, you get customization, you get to build your van for slightly more than what Volkswagen will say, here you go, that's our sport line, enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, awesome. Well, look, thank you very much for joining us, Max.
Thank you. And if you want to see a T7 Harlequin, I'm going to get Ollie to approve it. Just let me know in the comments.
Love that shit. Thank you so much, guys. Take it all the best. Take it all the best, that makes sense.
Take it all the best up the bum.